Oh, a microphony.
And a phony at the mic.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
The Doctor of Discernment is now online.
You know, much like my show, in that it's a local reaction to things that are happening on a federal level.
Dispensing a daily dose of common sense. No prescription required.
Wow, do I have a boatload of stuff for you, from the crazy to the absurd. Let's start getting into it because, I mean, it is bizarro world out there. And I say, if it's obvious to me, should be obvious to everybody. Oh, wow. Who could have seen this coming?
This is the Fourth Hour with Greg Belfrage.
Hold on to your butts.
Broadcasting from my basement bunker beneath Kettle Radio. Welcome, in other words, my office. Welcome to the Fourth Hour. It is great to have you along. Yeah, and I appreciate the comments of some of you already this morning. Yeah, you know, you come back. I've had a week plus yesterday off, and it's tough to get in them, you know, get rolling again. So today was one of those days. It's a bit of a struggle sometimes. So I gotta get back up on top of what's going on and what's happening. So let's see what the latest is this morning. This story from Fox News. Judge today finding that the president acted unlawfully when he federalized the National Guard and deployed a handful of Marines to address what was going on in California. So the judge saying he's bothered by the timing. As you'll remember, the president sending in National Guard troops back in June, supporting federal authorities in California as the ICE raids were ongoing. It's unfortunate that it comes to that these cities and states have not been more supportive. I'm just blown away by that. I really am. What the Democrat Party stands for. There's absolutely nothing that I can embrace. Absolutely nothing. So anyway, the judge's decision may have minimal impact on the ground in California, but it could have nationwide implications as the president, and Pete Hegseth deploying National Guard members in Washington, D.C. They're also talking about it, and this is what I talked about on the show this morning, whether it's in Chicago or in other cities, to address what's going on there. And it's just absolutely mind-blowing to me. So I wanted to share that with you. There is just a lot of craziness that is going on. Let me reorganize these stories in the order I want to share them with you. Yeah, also, my screens are just slow this morning. Kind of like me. You got Ryan Routh, who will be representing himself. Now, we are learning this is the guy who wanted to assassinate Donald Trump. This is the guy who was hidden in the bushes in Florida. He is set to represent himself during a pre-trial conference today. So jury selection will begin September 8th. That's coming up fairly quickly. You remember Routh representing yourself. That is the craziest thing. If that doesn't tell you everything you need to know about some of these crazy people, it's just absolutely incredible. I have been surprised that we've not heard more about that case. So that's something I'll be keeping an eye on. The president saying that he plans to represent the Biden presidency on the White House Rose Gardens Wall of Fame. So how does he plan? I'm going to go right down here. I want you to see this. Can you see the photo there? So photos of Trump, 2017, 2021. And of course, the present photo, and the auto pen. So on the Rose Garden Wall of Fame, he wants a photo of the auto pen. That is going to drive some people just absolutely off their rocker crazy. J.K. Rowling has been in the news. And this is a comment that she made on X. I want to share this with you. She said, as another man who once worked with me declares himself saddened by my beliefs on gender and sex, I thought it might be useful to compile a list for handy reference. Which of the following do you imagine makes actors and directors who aren't involved with the HBO reboot of Harry Potter so miserable? Is it my belief that women and girls should have their own public changing rooms and bathrooms, that women should retain female-only rape crisis centers, that men don't belong in women's sport, that female prisoners should not be incarcerated with violent men and male sex offenders, that women should remain a protected class in law because they have sex-specific needs and issues, that language should reflect reality rather than ideological jargon, especially in a medical context. This goes on and on. So she got a number of these things. These are all things I think that common sense folks are going to agree with, especially those of us who do not like to see men in women's sports. It's or in women's changing rooms, just don't like it. So she said, again, this just goes on, about this, that cross-dressing heterosexual male fetishists aren't actually oppressed, but having the time of their lives, piggybacking off gender identity ideology. I think there's a lot of that that's going on, and you see it. So she is getting a lot of support from folks. You're seeing this on X, where common sense tends to prevail since Elon Musk, transformed Twitter into X, and you find a lot more common sense there than you did, I think, prior to that. But that issue of J.K. Rowling and what she's saying, I'm just absolutely amazed. And then there was a comedian in the UK who also opposed to transgenders and made a couple of posts online. I think like 3 posts. And as soon as he arrived in London, I think it was London, as soon as he got off the plane, he's arrested for what he was saying, expressing, and it's just absolutely incredible. And J.K. Rowling was just, I think like many of us, just absolutely stunned. And she said, and this is one of the things I have told you, watch what's going on in the UK, because that kind of stuff is coming here. I'm not saying next week, next month, that stuff that we see happening there, it'll be coming here. It is very well developed over in the UK. And it's really troubling, I think, to see some of the things that are happening over there. Also, I'm always a little bit taken aback by the hatred that some seem to have for Israel. Chris Martin of Coldplay brought an Israeli fan on stage in the UK, noted they are equal humans on earth, and then also welcomed the Palestinians in the crowd. So there's a clip that has gone viral, shows him, this is in London, and he introduces this Israeli fan, and they were met with boos. And this is crazy. And he said, I'm going to say this. I'm very grateful that you're here as humans. We're treating you as equal humans on earth, regardless of where you come from. Thank you for being here. We're grateful. Thank you for being loving and kind. Although it's controversial, maybe, I also want to welcome people in the audience from Palestine, and the crowd goes nuts. Absolutely crazy. So the hatred of Israelis in this country is just jaw-dropping to me. I look at that. Why are so many people motivated by just such an intense hatred? Where does that come from? And I'm not Jewish. I'm not from Israel. I don't have family in Israel. But what's going on with the hatred that we see toward Israel is just mind-numbing to me. I think it's really kind of difficult to stomach for a lot of us as we see those kinds of things unfold. And you're up in front of a concert and the audience booing Israeli fans. That's just absolutely incredible. There was another story, and I meant to share this morning on the air. Ilhan Omar of Minnesota, her net worth jumps to as much as $30 million.
Is scheduled to testify.
She has said she is not a millionaire. She's a multi-millionaire.
All right, Rich Edson on the phone for us tonight. Thank you.
Wasn't it Bernie Sanders who was trying to convince us the same thing? Bernie Sanders, not a millionaire. Here's Ilhan Omar, the same thing. So the disclosure reported by the Washington Free Beacon shows that Omar and her husband have a net worth ranging from $6 to $30 million, despite claims earlier this year that she was not a millionaire. How do you become a millionaire when you're doing public service? That's just always boggling to me. You know, Donald Trump built his millions privately. You know, how do these politicians become millionaires? That is really takes me aback. So now she is part of again, Bernie Sanders. I remember how he fought tooth and nail. Folks were out there when showing he was a millionaire, and you know some of his rhetoric. It's just because it blows the illusion. The illusion is they're one of us. They're one of us. They're fighting for us. They're down in the dirt with us. And you find out they're millionaires. They're paying for their own private security, their own police force. You know what I mean? And it just completely shatters the illusion that they are just everyday folks on Main Street. And I think the lies are easy to see through. And in the case of Ilhan Omar, the reports are out there showing how much she's making. And it's hardly a surprise, but I think people would be right to ask, how do you become so wealthy when you are a public servant? It has always mystified me. All right, my friends, I'm going to leave it there today. You have made it to the end of the video, so you are part of my gallery of champions. Special salute to the Bunker Brigade. Those of you who are here each and every day, hope to be in better shape tomorrow, mentally speaking. It's been a rugged first day back. But I really enjoyed my time off. And I hope you had a great Labor Day weekend. So until tomorrow, I'm underground and gone.